Hey family, how's it going? This is Gerald with houseflippingguide.com, and I'm going to go ahead and break down a deal. It's a question from a member of the house flipping family that had asked about a piece of property that a seller is looking to sell. And so this particular property is a brownstone in the state of New York, and the seller or the owner wants $4.4 million. Now, brownstones, to tell you the truth, that's some of the hottest piece of real estate that you can go ahead and get in the state of New York. These things, I didn't realize it, but priced correctly, these things sell extremely fast. They are highly desirable. They look like townhomes. Okay, and I believe they are townhomes. I know it was either townhomes or row houses. I was looking at a little bit of history of them, but they're very, very desirable. That are made of they're made of brownstones. And so, let me give you a little bit of information regarding this particular deal. So the seller or the owner wants $4.4 million, and so let's go ahead and walk through the steps of this particular property. So, seller wants $4.4 million. Number one, take the time to go ahead and look the property up on redfin.com, redfin.com, and realtor.com, so that you can kind of get an estimation of value, an indication of value, right? I don't know what this particular brownstone goes for. I've seen some go for millions and millions of dollars, and I've seen some not go so high. So I don't know if this seller is wanting wholesale, retail. I don't know. You know what I mean? All I know is 4.4 sounds like a lot of money, but compared to what the actual value is, I wouldn't know. So what you're looking for is you're looking for something called equity. What is equity? Equity is value minus debt owed. Debt owed could be mortgage, Lincoln property taxes, other liens. So what is the value now minus the debt owed? That's equity. So on this particular deal, as I begin to evaluate it, you want to see if this property is worth somewhere around the $6 million mark. Why do I say that? In this particular area, some of the numbers that are coming back are this. There are investors in that area that are buying properties at 80 cents on the dollar's cash. Right? There are some investors that buy property 75 cents on the dollar cash. There are some investors that buy property at 85 cents on the dollar cash. So what do I mean by that? So in this particular deal, I evaluated the property at 75 cents on the dollar cash. So at 75 cents on the dollar, if that property had a value today, September 2018, if that property today had a value of $6 million, that means an investor would buy that property all cash for $4.5 million. If an investor buys that property for $4.5 million and the owner or the seller wants $4.4 million, assuming that your cash investor pays their closing costs and the owner pays all their closing costs, you tie that property up into a contract, you would walk away with $100,000. $4.5 million minus $4.4 million is $100,000. So, first thing you do, look up the property's value. Go to redfin.com, go to realtor.com, get an indication of value. Find some local real estate agents that will give you something called comps, comparable sales. You have to have trust there, because some agents will go behind your back and try to get the listing. But since this particular investor has expressed that this owner does not want to deal with an agent, you're okay. So what you need to do is actually find out what the value is on the property. So talk to an agent, go to realtor.com, go to redfin.com. Also talk to an agent. If they won't provide you comps offer them some money. You know, offer them maybe $20, whatever it is, to go ahead and get some comps for that area. So let's go and assume that property is worth $6 million, which I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Assuming that property has a value that is significantly more than what that owner is trying to sell that property for, obviously, you go ahead and you get a contract on that property, right? You let the owner know, yes, I represent, as you've already stated, yes, I, myself, along with some other investors, we go ahead, we represent a group of investors who buy properties, all cash, that can close quickly. Get a contract on a property for 4.4, right? Then, after that, you go ahead, you go to an investor-friendly title company. Okay? Place that contract with an investor-friendly title company. After that, what you do is you go out and you find yourself a cash buyer. So how do you find a cash buyer, assuming that that property has a value of has a value of $6 million, roughly? What you do, a great way to go ahead and find cash buyers is to pull up sold comps of brownstones in the area that have sold for cash within the last, let's say, 60, 90 days. You know what? For brownstones, I'll let you know this. Go back a year. Go back 1 year to see how many brownstones have sold for cash. Okay. If you get the same investor, when you look up the property, if you get the same investor that has bought multiple brownstones in that area for cash, that is your person. That's your guy or gal or company. Okay. You have the property under contract. You go to them and you let them know, look, I have a property here. Matter of fact, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to have a link in the description of what you can go ahead and say to that cash buyer and how to say it. And I did a post on Bigger Pockets a while back, and it's beautiful. It's a postcard, or you can go ahead and speak it. It will tell you what to do and how to say to that cash buyer to let them know, hey, I got a deal over here. That's a sweet deal that has a lot of equity. Okay. You'd be interested in it. So once you go ahead, you get that cash buyer under contract because they want it, because that property has a lot of equity. You place their agreement with the title company or the closing agent, and away you go. Now, let me back up a little bit, because I don't know. Like I said, $4.4 million sounds like retail to me and to a lot of people listening to me. And it's important for me to say this, okay? You all, as investors, especially new investors, are going to come across deals where you're going to have owners attempt to sell you properties at retail. Okay. If that's the case, that is a non-motivated seller. They're not motivated to sell. They're motivated to sell, but not necessarily to at a price where an investor can make any type of return. Okay, that itself would probably more so be a real estate listing. And one of the reasons that that owner or that seller does not want to deal with an agent is, number one, they know the agent cannot get them that price. Or number two, they've had a bad experience with that agent in the past, or agents in the past. Or number three, they don't want to pay the commission, because that commission is 6% of $4.4 million. And you all can evaluate that. So, be mindful of sellers who want to sell, who are actually not motivated to sell at a price that's favorable to investors. And as time goes on, you'll know how to stop those people at the gate, because the reason I tell you to go ahead and evaluate these deals for free for yourself in the beginning is, let's assume that property is selling for, that owner wants to sell it for 4.4, and that property is actually worth $3.9 million. There's no money there to be made. You can get that property under contract, but you would, if you got a property like that under contract, you would specifically be marketing to retail buyers who want to buy the property via financing for the most part. And that is what that is. So whether it be a brownstone or another type of property, many of you as new investors have to know or have to evaluate a deal up front and learn what a motivated seller, they may be a motivated seller, but there's no equity there or no flexibility there in the deal where you can't even buy it for a discount, or you can't even buy it creatively, meaning taking payments for the property, seller financing and that type of thing. There are a lot of motivated sellers out there that will sell you a property, but the property has no type of return whatsoever. And that essentially is a listing, to a real estate agent. And so evaluating a deal is crucial, and knowing what a deal is and is not is crucial. Okay. And this goes for those of you who are not just evaluating brownstones, evaluating properties themselves, because many of you are coming across sellers who are motivated to sell their properties, but their properties are not, there's no type of return to make on investment because that owner is not flexible to go ahead and sell at a discount price, or they're not flexible on selling on terms. And in that case, you can go ahead and just don't waste your time, walk away from that deal, because it's going to cause you a lot of time wasted. Okay. So know what a deal is and what it is not. And knowing value is crucial. Also there's some free resources where you can go ahead and look up the property as well on the local county website to see what is owed against the property. Assuming that brownstone is paid off, which it may be or maybe not. Let's assume they got a ton of equity, but they're still not flexible on price. Lots of times they'll be hiding something. Not that it's bad, but they're not telling you why they don't want to list with an agent if they're trying to list that property at above retail, or they're not creative on terms because they don't want to be. It's important to know what value is up top and to go ahead and go through those questions that I have in the wholesaling course, which will help you to evaluate a true motivated seller. That questionnaire is gold, man. And it will save you a lot of time. I get a lot of questions in the group, and I get a lot of deals that come my way. And most of them, not even many, most of them really are not deals. Because the seller is flexible in no way. The seller's not flexible on price or terms or anything. And there's a lot of sellers who want to sell their property, but it's just not favorable to an investor. And so knowing what a deal is and knowing what a deal is not is crucial. So evaluate that brownstone. Go to those two websites. See what the actual value is. If you want to pay somebody $20 to go ahead and comp the property out for you, and if you see that property is worth $4.2 million, they're trying to sell for 4.4, and they're not flexible on anything else, move on to the next property. Okay. There's a lot of deals out there, and there's a lot of sellers out there waiting for you all as investors to go ahead and contact them. Okay. So this is Gerald with an evaluation and a little bit of a lesson for you all as real estate investors. If y'all found value in the video, please click the like button, share it with family and friends. Also, if you all are interested in the steps, the steps to wholesaling, I'm going to have that link at the bottom in the description. I also have some free contracts in the description. Yeah, think about joining the House Flipper Family Facebook group and I think I'm going to do more education too on what a deal is and what it is not. So I can go ahead and help more people to not waste their own time. Okay. This is Gerald, guys. You all have a great day.